My name is Rafael Castillo. I'm currently a junior associate at a gold level partner consultancy. And I initially started in May 2021 when I initially signed up for Talent Stacker. It took me a little bit over a year from when I started to when I was hired by my present company. It went a little bit longer than most people, but I had a lot of fits and starts when I was on Trailhead. Life got in the way. Sometimes I got frustrated. I needed a break from it, but it was basically a long and winding road, but eventually I got there. I was a practicing primary care physician in Metro Manila for a little over a decade, about 11, 12 years. I met my wife there, and eventually we realized that we wanted to, I wanted to come back to the United States, and then I brought her with me. And we got back to New York, and we did what we initially wanted to do since we're both physicians. We both went onto the path to get residency positions at different hospitals, different programs, so we could practice as doctors here in the United States, because that's required for anybody to practice as a doctor. You have to go through a residency program. Unfortunately, the amount of residency positions, it's very limited. Most, if not all, of American medical graduates match into a program, but there's a huge amount of foreign doctors who apply, and also people such as myself who are American citizens who study abroad, get their medical degree abroad, and they get on the path to get a residency position. And the hard truth is not everybody is able to match into the program. Obviously, I'm one of them. I wasn't sure initially what I wanted to do, but one thing that initially interested me was obviously the tech field. I pursued training in web development. I did that for about a year when I came across Talent Stacker and Salesforce. I had never heard of it before. I am a listener to a podcast called Choose FI, where I actually heard two graduates of the Talent Stacker program, Dennison and Anita, talk about their experiences with this thing called Salesforce. And I did a little bit of research, and I signed up for the 5-day challenge. And initially, it seemed one of those things that was too good to be true. And in retrospect, it is one of the things that seems too good to be true, but it actually is true. But at the time, I'm a skeptical person by nature. So again, maybe this is too good to be true. So I actually did the 5-day program once, and I don't know, I skipped it. I thought I'll keep doing web development. And this is about the time of the pandemic, and people are losing jobs. The economy is grinding to a halt. And I thought, why not look into this again? Well, it took me a little over a year from when I started Trailhead and joined Talent Stacker to when I was eventually hired by my present company. It There were a lot of fits and starts. I'd start and make some progress for a couple of weeks. I'd be really interested, really making progress, getting modules done, but life would get in the way. And again, you kind of need to find time to make progress on Trailhead, doing the modules, learning and retaining information, taking notes. I think the thing that got me through it, always starting and then going back, making sure I'm making regular, steady progress, is I'd see the achievements that people were making in Talent Stacker. You'd always see these posts of people getting their certification, landing their jobs, and even when you're in the midst of some really difficult situations, like doing the security super badge, you always see that there's always people ahead of you, and they're just regular people like you, and you see that it's doable. So even though you might be having a hard time, I just looked at all these people just making progress and achieving what I wanted to do. So seeing that, that was the biggest factor in me. Again, if I'd have trouble, I'd leave it alone, and then I'd get back to it, and then I'd realize that I kind of forgot a lot of what I previously had done. So it's just in my nature that I want to remember it. So instead of just trying to remember, I'd start from the beginning and I'd make the progress again. I basically have like 4 or 5 of the security super badges because I actually did that a couple of times. And some people might think that was a waste of time. Like, why didn't you just sit down and start studying, taking it seriously? Sometimes that's what happens. And you just have to do whatever it takes to eventually get to where you want to go, even if it does take a long time, even if it does take a couple of tries. You just have to keep your eye on what you really want in the end. And just seeing everybody's success, that just inspires you. It inspired me to just keep at it. You get a sense of community, a sense of family, the sense of ohana. And that's what got me through, just more than anything. Because especially with the pandemic and learning remotely, again, that you're not at a university, you're not in a classroom. Everybody is in their own little world, but that's the connection that you make. And there is that sense of community. And that's what made me stick to it. And one other big thing that really got me to where I am now is the volunteer project. Again, one thing that a lot of uh, people might have difficulty, because you have people who join the talent stack are already certified, but they're applying for jobs. Employers are looking for a little bit more experience. Do you know how to put into action what you've learned? Because again, theoretical knowledge is one thing. Learning how to use that into something concrete for an employer, to help an employer out, a company out, a client out. Can you do that? And that's one thing that the volunteer project really helped me understand, that these concepts, learning them, memorizing them, doing well on the exam will only get you so far. And with the volunteer project, one, you learn how to put those concepts into action. You're building a Salesforce org from scratch. You're dealing with a client. You're listening to them. You're listening their requirements. What do they need? What do they want? You're building something up and they tell you, oh, wait, that's not what we had in mind. Can you do it this way? So you're learning how to become a administrator. You're learning how to become a business analyst. You're learning how to become a consultant. You get the work done. That's a baseline. You get the work done, but you can set your own hours. And that's the thing I love the most, compared to my life in medicine, is when I close the laptop, my day ends. There's no chance that I'm going to be called in at 2 o'clock in the morning because somebody is upset about their software configuration. My weekends are mine for the first time in a really long time, and I'm still getting used to it, because I remember when I was interviewing, one of the managing partners in my firm said, a lot of people, when they get into this initially, they really want to be go, go, go. And we basically have to tell them, we hired you for what you bring to the table, but the thing is, we want you to last and we don't want you to burn out. And we know each of us has families, and we want you to um, have a work-life balance, because the more that you are rested, that you are at peace with your situation at home personally with your family, you're more productive because you have that sense of peace. And once you're working with us, we know that you can give it your all because you have that work-life balance. And that's the one thing that I really appreciate coming from medicine to my situation now is when I'm off, I'm off. When I am having dinner with my wife, when I'm out with my wife, I'm all there.